You looking for an eye expert? Well, visit Acadiana Optics in Broussard, locally owned, founded, and operated by Broussard native Dr. Lindsay Dugas. From comprehensive eye exams for glasses and contacts to diabetic exams, pediatric eye care, emergency eye care, cataract and LASIK evaluations, Acadiana Optics provides family eye care for all vision needs. Enjoy state-of-the-art technology, designer frame selections, prescription Maui Jim sunglasses, and custom glasses and contacts. Acadiana Optics in Broussard. Call today to schedule your appointment.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number one, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry.
No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros were crushed last night at home 9-3 by the Detroit Tigers. Kaiwei Ting went 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits with 3 home runs, but did manage to strike out 9. Game 2 will be tonight, and it'll be Hunter Brown on the mound taking on his old teammate in Framber Valdez. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m., and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Around the AL West, the Minnesota Twins defeated the Texas Rangers 4-2. The Athletics beat the Pirates 11-2, and the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Angels 4-3. With those results, Seattle still sits in first place with Houston 4.5 games back in fourth. In the Men's College World Series, the University of Texas eliminated the Alabama Crimson Tide after beating them 14-2 yesterday afternoon. Then Oklahoma beat Georgia 4-3 to set up an elimination game between Texas and Georgia tonight at 7 p.m. Also in the College World Series today, on the other side of the bracket, West Virginia will meet Troy in an elimination game at 1 p.m. today in Omaha. After a lengthy legal battle, it was revealed yesterday that Brennan Sorsby will be applying to the NFL supplemental draft and continuing to try to play his college career with Texas Tech. The deadline for the supplemental draft for the NFL is June 22nd. Day 6 of the FIFA World Cup begins today with another full slate of matches. France will play Senegal at 2 p.m., then Iraq will play Norway at 5 p.m. Defending champions Argentina will face Algeria at 8 p.m., and then the late kick will be Austria squaring off with Jordan at 11 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome into Footnotes. You are listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles. As we broadcast live from the Bill and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette, Bill and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. If you want to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, you can do so in about 15 minutes, 706-0111. On this pretty gloomy Tuesday morning. Gloomy for a lot of reasons. One, the weather. We've been hearing about how bad the weather's going to be today, and it's not like pouring or anything, but kind of barely drizzling, overcast. Gloomy because the Astros had another miserable performance last night, and we'll get into some of the details of that. Very, very, very strange game. Gloomy because something that happens just once or twice a year, it seems like, has happened today. I came into the show and somehow, well, I know how it happened, but I left my bag at home.
Yep.
And so I'm bagless.
You are without your book sack.
Yes. I am without bag.
You are without bag. That is correct.
I am without notes.
You looked like
I'm just lost.
You looked distraught when you came in.
I'm like, what am I going to do? And we'll get through it, but it's just weird. It's just, I'm a guy of routine and it's like a kid with his little safety blanket,
Yeah, it's your stuffed
now,
animal.
It's not just a hole, but there are notes in there, and it just, I don't know. It's just not good. Anyway, we will get through it. The Astros last night, just another miserable performance. They had a miserable weekend. Fortunately, they won 2 games, but it's just. Last night, the Detroit Tigers struck out 18 times.
Yes.
Hit 5 homers and won 9-3.
Yeah.
18 strikeouts.
Tseng had 9.
The first time through the order, not one ball was put into play. He either walk, hit, or struck you out through the first time through the order. And then he just couldn't stop giving up home runs. Colt Keith had 1 home run all season. He was hitting 140 in the month of June. He hit 3 bombs last night.
Yep.
Again, you know me. I don't like facing guys that are overdue to succeed. I want the Piper on my side as much as possible. Man, last night was the ultimate example of that. Like, it's just, you got to be kidding. He's hitting 140 for the month. He's got 1 homer all season, and he hits 3 home runs in 1 game. I mean, how is that even possible?
Because baseball is a very weird
and
game. Weird, tricky sport.
Like I always say, Milo used to say all the time, there's 2 words to describe baseball. You never know. You just don't know. I mean, you just don't know.
I think that's 3.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of the
Okay.
But it's just crazy.
No, it is.
But again, the bottom line is this. By the way, they said last night that they've been mispronouncing his name all season. That his name is actually Tung. That's the way
Kaiway?
Kaiway Tung is supposed. They said they were like, I don't know, at some elevator or something, and he was coming on with his interpreter guy, and he said, they told a story last night. They're like, someone told me that we've been mispronouncing his name. Why didn't y'all say it? He goes, we didn't think nothing of it. We just let it, But yeah, it's been mispronounced.
Wow, I mean,
I'm pretty sure he said it was supposed to be pronounced Kaiway Tung.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they, his first start this season, like going and trying to find the absolute correct pronunciation, and Ting was what I got.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully, again, however you pronounce his name, that has to be the last time he starts a game for the Astros. And again, I'm not blaming him. He was never signed to be a starting pitcher. He was signed to be a relief pitcher and middle reliever, like down on the, like a 6th inning guy.
Couple innings in the middle.
And so they've got Hunter Brown is starting tonight, so that's a start. By the way, tonight's game, Hunter Brown against Framber Valdez. I mean, you want to talk about a juicy game. One, there's the whole Hunter Brown part of it, just coming back. He hadn't pitched since March. So he missed all of April and all of June so far. And they need him desperately because they have no pitching. And then, obviously, he's going against the Tigers. He grew up in the Detroit area. He grew up a Tiger fan. He worshiped Justin Verlander, who is now back on the Tigers, although he's hurt and not pitching. Then there's the whole Framber thing, who's played his whole career with the Astros and left in a not real popular way because of everything that happened with the, last year, and he's kind of weird. I've always been a Framber guy.
Not many other people
I'm
are.
one of the few Framber guys. I understand what he did was awful and he shouldn't have done it, and I understand why he's unpopular. I get all that, but I always defended him for the most part. Well, now he's the enemy, so I hope the Astros crush him. But I don't know which way Framber's hard to read sometime. Like,
yeah,
is he going to get all motivated and pitch like a no-hitter? Not a no-hitter, but, a shutout or have 7 shutout innings or something great, which is pretty possible because the Astros are at home. Or is he going to get so mental, which he does a lot, where just all of it's going to overwhelm him and he's going to start freaking out and lose his emotions and not handle himself?
I think both are equally possible here.
I think they're both very possible. So it's a fascinating night. Like, the Astros really need to win. I've been saying since last week, I'm worried about the Tigers because they had a stretch where they lost 21 out of 25, and they've been playing way better lately. Plus, they got extra rest because they had a rainout game on Sunday. So I don't like this situation. Hopefully, the other thing about Hunter is he's going to be on a pitch count. Like, they're not going to let him come back and throw 7 innings, even if he pitches great. I don't know what his pitch count would be, but I doubt he throws much more than 80-something pitches.
Yeah, I can't see them letting him go much more than that.
If that.
So, yeah.
So, again, fascinating. They have got to get – it's been like this for years. Like, how many years? Like, can I just have starting pitchers, major league starting pitchers, start games for a major league team? Why is that so much to ask? You realize how seldom that's happened in the last 3 seasons? I just want major league starting pitchers starting games for a major league team.
Well, I mean,
is it really that much to ask?
I think everybody's just got that one position because I used to do that with, the Yankees and a left fielder for forever. So.
Well, the Astros hadn't had one of those for 4 years. They haven't had a major league outfielder for 4 years. Get this. They said it last night. Bryce Matthews, young player, small sample size. In his career, his OPS is over 900 on the road. At home, it's 300. Now, you tell me that makes any sense. That it could be that different.
No, it
and it's not just him. Like, he's a full-fledged Astro because he can't hit at home. Oh, it's just awful.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan.
They just cannot. It's like they come. Now, a couple like El Perro Grande is actually hitting very well at home this year.
Yeah. Well, he's MVP. I think he's leading the AL MVP vote.
Well,
which I'm sure you don't like.
As of now, he's got Triple Crown numbers. I'm already getting sick of hearing about that.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that funny business.
I just want to have a major league pitcher start major league games for one rotation. Or like where everyone starts one, and it's 5 major league pitchers starting 5 major league games. And then when they bring a relief pitcher in, it's like a major leaguer, not a minor leaguer pitching in the major leagues.
If the team is basically like this, 1 week they look a lot better, the next week they lose, 4 out of 5 games, and we're at the trade deadline, and it's pretty much gone the exact same as it has now up until then, till
I don't
trade
want to trade anybody.
So you're not going to be sellers, you're still going to buy.
Why would you sell when you're 1 5-game win streak away from being right there?
I know that. Well, that's the crazy thing. Your division is still wide open.
You're 1 5. All I'm trying to get them to do is get hot. Like, even really bad teams get hot. This is baseball.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to get them to be hot. 1 5-game winning streak, and they're right there. So there's no reason to trade. You just have to get healthy.
Well, what if by then, though, you're not 5 games out? Like, you've stayed the course, but Seattle and the Athletics are, each 10-9 games ahead of you. Then how do you approach that?
Well, if they get to 10 back, I wouldn't want to give up, but I will understand if they do. I'd be fine. But again, what are we going to do? Make some awful trade? Like the trade deadline last year, Dana Brown the job he did was horrendous. Like, I don't know if I trust him to do anything right.
Yeah. I mean,
the trade deadline last year was terrible. It was a disaster show.
And right now, on the MLB's rankings, they have Houston's farm system at 29 and no prospects in the top 100.
Yeah, they always
I know
say
you
that,
do.
but every time they bring guys up, they do well.
I'm just, I was curious to see because we are inching a little closer to it, and I feel like they're not going to sell regardless.
Well, they would have to go in a pretty long, prolonged slump to me to where I'm for them selling because it's too easy to get back in the race. Just too easy.
Who's the number one guy you'd sell, though, if you could? You can get him off the team.
I mean, obviously, the whole offseason, it was Isak, but you can't afford to get rid of him now, even though he's playing terrible, because you don't have any, because Correa's hurt like he always is.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the even if you buy Correa, and I love Correa, again, he's the best defensive player. I think he's the best defensive player the Astros have ever had, ever. Like, he's awesome.
It's hard to argue. I mean, if he's not, he's top 3.
But he's always hurt. So even if you just loved his skill set and his leadership and all that stuff, why would you trade for a guy who's always injured when you've been having injuries for 2 years?
And he's old.
Oh.
It's not his fault he's old, but he is old.
It's just awful. I mean, I just want a major league pitcher to pitch a major league game. I mean, I just don't know why that's too much to ask. We'll take a timeout and get to the College World Series next. Stay tuned.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
When storm season approaches, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley brings you hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home and bring in outdoor items. Have an emergency kit stocked with water, food, and medication. Know your evacuation routes. Listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Palermo. Join us on Tuesday nights for Tiger Rag Radio. Myself, Todd Horn, and Glenn Gilbo give you the latest happenings in Tiger Town and across the SEC. We talk to coaches, analysts, and those in the know when it comes to the Tigers and the Southeastern Conference. We cover all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, softball, and gymnastics. That's Tuesday nights right here on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and 104.1 in Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill, and the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm. LSP filing number LA2519079.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in Louisiana at highschoolofficials.com.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free to do so. 706-0111. 706-0111. Remember, we're about to talk about the College World Series, but also it is day 2 of week 3 of our Footnotes Summer Project, the NFL.
Okay.
And we just had we got off to a slow start yesterday. The first 2 weeks, we got off to a running start. We had nominations coming at us left and right. NFL, the most popular one, ironically, got off to a slow start. So we'll pick up some steam on that. Before we move on that and comment on the College World Series, what is our poll question of the day, sir?
Yes, so it is a fashion-themed poll, if you will. It is, what is the best United States men's national team jersey of all time? The 2012 jersey, and I'll throw it up on the screen, Kevin, if you could maybe see it.
It's
Look, can you see that, or is that still a little too far away from you? Or you got it on your phone. Oh, we're golden if you got it on your phone, but for the people watching on YouTube. So we have the 2012 jersey, which is the striped jersey, very similar to the one they're wearing today. The 2010 jersey, which is the dark blue with the white sash. Then you've got the 2014 jersey, which is commonly referred to as a rocket pop. There's actually one behind you, Kevin, in the studio. That belongs to me. And then the did we say the 94 jersey?
Yeah, 94 one's awful. It sounds weird, but I think I'll go with the 2012, the stripes one. 2012 is my favorite.
So that the block stripes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it's a three-way tie right now between 12, 10, and 14. They're at 33.3%, and then the 1994 jersey still no votes, which is shocking because it's like a cult classic. A lot of people love that jersey because it is so ugly. It was actually denim too, which was
oh yeah, it doesn't look good.
Not a lot of people were big fans of it at the time.
No, it doesn't look good.
Well, it's growing on people. I like it.
So in other words, like some people look at it kind of like the Astros orange rainbow jerseys. They were so outlandish that some people liked them.
The Tequila Sunrise ones?
You know, just
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what was the Tequila Sunrise, and it became a fad to where teams, I mean, my high school team, a lot
started
of teams
doing it
and calling it a throwback, and
Yeah.
they never had that. It was never a throwback jersey for them. So I know what you're talking about.
All right, going into the College World Series, the popular team that I think most people looked at the team to beat was Georgia. And I said, I don't know if I buy Georgia. You know me, I'm not, the kind of, in the SEC, they don't really play baseball. They play home run derby. And I said, my thought was, when they don't play in the SEC popcorn parks and play these crazy 13 to 12 games, what are they going to do? Like, are they really going to be able to win in that way when they're actually having to play baseball? And yesterday, Well, the first game, they scored 4 runs, which for them is not a lot because they led the country in runs scored. But they had a historic pitching performance, and again, I said that's impressive. Like that's what you want to be able to do. Well, yesterday they scored 3 runs, and it wasn't enough because they didn't have an historic pitching performance, and they got beat by Oklahoma. Going into the Oklahoma was the one team that it was hard to explain. I had no idea how Oklahoma got there, but I'm starting to develop a theory on Oklahoma.
All right.
Oklahoma is a baseball team.
That they are.
They are not a home run derby team like most of the SEC with all their little SEC popcorn parks. And so they did not look good most of the year.
Yeah.
Because they don't they don't play home run derby, although they have hit some home runs. They hit some yesterday. But you know what I'm saying? They don't really match up with the 13-12, 12-10 home run derby version of the game that the SEC plays with all their little popcorn parks.
Well, you say the SEC and the popcorn park thing. The SEC has won, the last 6 national championships.
Well, I'm not saying they're not good.
Oh, okay. I think I picked up.
I'm saying they play home run derby. And I think Oklahoma does not match. They're not a home run derby team.
I just thought they were a bad team, honestly.
And so now that we're actually playing baseball in Omaha, not home run derby, they actually match up pretty well. They can actually play baseball. They just can't play home run derby. That's why we thought they weren't good. And so that's the only explanation I've come up with because I have no other explanation for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going off of was I watched them play LSU 4 times. They went 2-2. LSU dominated them the first game. Looked like they could beat them in every game, and LSU was not a good team. That was my thinking behind them not being that good.
So we'll see how it moves on. Remember, we did our the little SAT poll that I do or comparison I do every year, and it said that Alabama was by far the worst team, and so far it's played that way out on the field. It said the second worst team was Ole Miss. So far that's played out on the field. And it said the third 6 was Troy. So we'll see. Like, Troy looks quite a bit better than Alabama and Ole Miss. But they got a tough assignment today. They play West Virginia at 1 o'clock. And Texas plays Georgia at 7. So that will be very interesting to see how that plays out. We will see. All right. For now, let's head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
So, excuse me, for the NFL duos, is it by position? Like a defensive end with another defensive end?
Well, it could be. But, I mean, it could be a wide receiver and a, 2 linebackers or a wide receiver and a quarterback or 2 running backs. I mean,
what was listed? What people said? What some of the
Well, the only thing we did yesterday was I gave my favorite all-time Saints one was Muncie and Galbraith. Yeah, that's my favorite Saints 1-2 punch. And we had 1 or 2 more, but again, I left my bag at home now, so I'm kind of operating kind of weird today. But
so let me ask you this. Look, I'm not trying to be funny, man. I'm talking sports. I'm looking at it from a historical perspective. But would you go with cuss word to cuss word or young to cuss word?
Well, look, I am not. No, I get it. I get it. I think cuss word is better than Young. I think Steve Young is very overrated. But I'm not going to say 16 is overrated. I just don't like him. But I always thought, I think Steve Young had more. Steve Young and Brett Favre were like the kings of dropped interceptions, awful passes that somehow the guys drop. I'm not saying he's the bad quarterback, but among the elite quarterbacks, he has a perception of this elite quarterback. I think he's one of the worst. So I would not say him.
Manning to Harrison.
Oh, I mean,
Marvin.
That obviously is a very good one, yes.
Or a duo, Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. So let me ask you this. With Reggie White, would you team him up with Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons, Jerome Brown? Like, Jerome Brown passed away. Excuse me, Seth Joyner. Who would you?
I mean, I would probably do Jerome Brown and Reggie. Yeah, I would if I was going to do a 1-2 punch with them. Yes. But, man, those teams, I'm telling you, the
Richard
NFC
Dent
defensively was so good back then.
What about Richard Dent and Singletary?
No. Yeah, to me that's a little different. That's kind of like
that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Like, so it would be Dent and Steve McMichael. Like, who is?
Well, it's kind of like baseball when someone did what was it? Thurman Munson and Reggie. Like they were on the same team, but they don't really go together as a 1-2 punch. You know, it doesn't seem that way anyway. But yeah, I mean, we can say anything. I'm trying to think who was the other defensive end on the other side of Dent.
Steve McMichael.
Well, he was on the defensive line, but I don't think he was an end. I think he was more in the middle.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, all of that can work. Yes.
Okay, like you know what I mean. I'm trying to think of some I know I can think because I was thinking. Matter of fact, Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk. Think about that, man. They both won MVPs in a 3-year span. Like Kurt Warner won 2.
Yeah.
Marshall Falk won 1 between.
They also had Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, and the Saints used with all that talent. The Saints used to crush them. Great victories, great victories for Aaron Brooks and the Saints against those Rams teams. Great victories.
You know what? You mentioned Favre. I think Favre and Sterling Sharp was headed that way.
Yeah, it definitely was. They had a lot of miraculous plays, no question. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Take care. I got a Swan and Stallworth. That's a little hard for me because, you know, I didn't grow up the Steeler fan kind of thing, but there's no question they were really good.
What about Brady and Gronk? That's a 1-2 punch. You don't seem very pleased.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's one of the best quarterback tight end duos of all time in terms of numbers, if anything.
It is. I mean, obviously, I was not a huge fan of them, but no, that was a, you know, and the other one that people say is from the 80s, because I always say this from Summerall Sims to Bavaro, First Down Giants. Seemed like we heard that forever for a decade. But no, I didn't think too much about the tight end one, but you're right. No question, Brady and Gronk is as prolific a wide receiver, a quarterback tight end group as there's been. No question there. By the way, the reason why I was hesitating, someone brought up, I misspoke earlier. I said something wrong earlier. It was 4-1 for a lot of the game, but Georgia ended up scoring 3 runs late, and they actually did score 7 runs in the first game. So I got that. Okay. I said that wrong. Not 4-1. It was 4-1 for a long time in the game, but it was they actually ended up scoring 7. So I did that wrong. But I still think Georgia is going to. I still don't think they are as dominant of a team as people thought, because they're not going to be able to play that 12-10 game here, I don't think. Now, maybe when we get a little later, if they win today and people start to run out of pitching, maybe they can play a little home run derby. But look, if they win tonight, I'll be very impressed. You know, I didn't think they'd win the first time.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
And so I don't think they'll win today. If they do, I have to give them a lot of credit. And I have nothing against Georgia. I just think they're the ultimate personification of home run derby baseball.
That's fair.
And I'm kind of hoping they don't win.
I'm hoping Texas
because
doesn't win.
I pull for baseball more than home run derby.
I pull for the SEC over Texas. I'll pull for anybody over Texas.
Yeah, I get it. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros were crushed last night at home 9-3 by the Detroit Tigers. Kai Ting went 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits with 3 home runs, but did manage to strike out 9. Game 2 will be tonight, and it'll be Hunter Brown on the mound taking on his old teammate in Framber Valdez. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m., and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Around the AL West, the Minnesota Twins defeated the Texas Rangers 4-2. The Athletics beat the Pirates 11-2, and the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Angels 4-3. With those results, Seattle still sits in first place with Houston 4.5 games back in fourth. In the Men's College World Series, the University of Texas eliminated the Alabama Crimson Tide after beating them 14-2 yesterday afternoon. Then Oklahoma beat Georgia 4-3 to set up an elimination game between Texas and Georgia tonight at 7 p.m. Also in the College World Series today, on the other side of the bracket, West Virginia will meet Troy in an elimination game at 1 p.m. today in Omaha. After a lengthy legal battle, it was revealed yesterday that Brennan Sorsby will be applying to the NFL supplemental draft and continuing to try to play his college career with Texas Tech. The deadline for the supplemental draft for the NFL is June 22nd. Day 6 of the FIFA World Cup begins today with another full slate of matches. France will play Senegal at 2 p.m., then Iraq will play Norway at 5 p.m. Defending champions Argentina will face Algeria at 8 p.m., and then the late kick will be Austria squaring off with Jordan at 11 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
When strength matters, go to apfabllp.com. Precision built to last, from heavy-duty aluminum structural welding using TIG, MIG, and stick to custom metal fabrication designed exactly for your project. Need safety inspections, weld analysis, or 24-hour metal repairs? Trust A&P to get the job done. For quality craftsmanship and dependable service, visit apfabllp.com. That's apfabllp.com. A&P Fabrication and Construction. Built strong, built right.
At Waterboys Water Well Services, we're more than just a quick fix. A handshake means more to us than a contract. From water treatment that protects your home and health to expert well drilling, pump installation, and maintenance, we've got your water covered. Cleaner, safer, better tasting water starts with trust and ends with Waterboys. Proudly serving Louisiana families with integrity and experience. Waterboys, high quality H2O products, 337-678-9955.
Let's try something new, like not overloading your outlets. Up next, from Mr. Electric. You know that power strip and your extension cord? They are not a permanent lifestyle choice. You don't have to be afraid to get rid of them if they're damaged. And keep water far away from electricity. And if something sparks, buzzes, or smells like regret, call a professional. Because saving a few bucks is not worth turning your living room into a campfire. Home electrical safety. It's not shocking. unless you ignore it.
If you would like to learn more, visit MrElectric.com.
You're looking for not only a good electrician, but one you can trust. Here's Sean Dorey with Mr. Electric.
Yeah, I love what I do. I love serving our community. It's a pleasure, it really is. Our reviews speak for the passion that I have. You know, we want to do good business. We want to be someone that you can trust to come in to your home.
Call Mr. Electric today or see us on Facebook.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Got a few more 1-2 punches to throw out there before we get to another subject, still having to do with football. I mentioned Swan Stallworth, Zonka, and Mercury Morris. A lot of these are older, which I appreciate. And I think it's something that if you're younger and you're a fan and you weren't around back then, it's part of the fun of doing this is to learn a little bit about it. Most of these guys you probably heard of. I didn't root for these people, but they were obviously very good. The cornerback duo of Michael Haynes and Lester Hayes for the Raiders, late 70s, early 80s. The safety duo in the Cowboys, Cliff Harris and Charlie Waters. And then the old Packer duo, Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung. So we had a couple other suggestions there to throw out there. And obviously we're just getting started a lot more. We mentioned a few of the Saints when yesterday would be like Swilling and Ricky and Galbraith and Muncie was my favorite. All right. So every time I hear, if you're a Saints fan of anywhere near my age, I don't know if you think like me, but every time I hear NFL supplemental draft, what comes to mind as a Saints fan to you? For me, I immediately think about Dave Wilson. Dave Wilson. I am not saying Archie was as good as Drew Brees. I'm not saying that. And obviously the Saints were an elite team for a lot of the time that Brees was there, and the Saints were not an elite team in the latter years of Archie. But when they traded Archie, the Saints needed a quarterback, just like the Saints needed a quarterback, and they were searching for one, after Brees left. And so in the 1981 supplemental draft, the Saints decided to give up their first-round pick for Dave Wilson, who had played at Illinois, but he had, I don't know exactly what it was. He had some sort of, like he was going to be ineligible, some sort of transcript problem. I mean, were they changing grades? I have no idea what it was. But there was some sort of transcript issue, and he was going to be ineligible. And so the Saints, needing a quarterback, decided they were going to give up their first-round pick in the supplemental draft for Dave Wilson. His first year, remember, the Saints were coming off that dreadful 1-15 where they had all kind of drug issues. They were a mess. And that first year, he played in a handful of games, but he wasn't very good. And then Dave Wilson blows out his knee in a preseason game. The next year, misses the whole year. And he played a little bit. He was on the team, for another 8 years, but he was never anything near to what they thought. But they gave up a first-round pick. So let's fast forward to what's going on right now. We've been talking about how awful the situation is with Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech. Well, come to find out, which makes total sense, he's going to go into the supplemental draft. So what does that mean? That means there's a team out there that it's a lottery kind of situation. So basically, you can say if you have a first-round pick or a second-round pick in the upcoming draft, you have to have a pick in the draft, in that round. You can't say, I'm going to make a bid for a second-round bid for Brennan Sorsby if you don't have a second-round pick. So if you have a pick in that round, you can say, I make a second-round bid or a third-round bid or a fourth-round bid. I don't know how many teams are going to bid. It could be only one team that bids. Could be 3, could be 5. I mean, I have no idea how many teams are going to bid. So what happens is, I had to look this up because I didn't remember. I remember some of this, but I certainly didn't remember all these details. But the way they do it is like if you've won 6 or fewer games, then you go in one group. If you win 6 or more games but didn't make the playoffs, you go in the second group. And if you made the playoffs, you win in the third group. So you have like a little lottery system for a pecking order in each of those 3 groups. And so, like, you say, okay, if no one delivers a first, because if you get him, then you give up that draft pick. So if someone wants him as a first rounder and they're the only ones, then they get him. But they give up their first round draft pick for next year. Or more likely, a second or a third round pick. So like say 2 teams or 3 teams make a third round bid. They say, we're willing to give up our third round if we get this guy. Well, whoever is the first up in the little lottery pecking order for that group gets it. They would get the rights to Brennan Sorsby. If no one doesn't, then he just becomes a free agent. I wonder, can he go back in the draft? I mean, can he go back to college then? I guess he can. Everybody can go back to college now. So I guess he can go back to college if no one claims him. But as NFL starved as a lot of teams are, I mean, quarterback starved as some teams are. I don't know about a lot, but there are some. You would think someone would give up at least a third round pick for it. If you need a quarterback, at least a third round. Now, no one may. I wouldn't think anybody give up a first round pick like the Saints did with Dave Wilson all them years ago. What is that? 45 years ago. And maybe a second round pick. I don't know. Maybe so. But it seemed like someone would give up at least a third or fourth round pick to get a quarterback if you need one. So we'll see. Who knows if he's all, you'd have to vet this guy pretty good. Like, where is this guy mentally right now? Like, is he ready to be the leader of a football team? Because he's been through some interesting scenarios here. He's been to therapy. I'm not saying you can't go to therapy and be a good leader. You can. But I'm just saying, like, think about what his life has been like the last week or two. Like, they are the venom of college athletics. I mean, they are just a total villain, and he creating all these issues, and people are wanting to pull out of all kind of stuff has been said in the last week. So I don't know where this kid is. Obviously, he's not totally together, or he wouldn't be in this situation. Not saying it can't be fixed, but I don't know. You'd have to vet this guy pretty good to give up a second round pick or even a third round pick and be pretty sure that he's going to be there for you 5 years from now from a commitment and leadership standpoint. So it's a very interesting situation. Supposedly he has the NFL arm. I've heard scouts say, he can make all the throws, all that stuff that you hear. But that doesn't mean he's a leader, but maybe he can be. Maybe he is. He just has to get past all of this. Fascinating situation. And I'm just so thankful that the Saints are not. Can you imagine if this was 2 years ago, what would we be talking about? Or even last year. We'd all be talking about, as Saints fans, man, Shouldn't we give a second-round bid? Shouldn't we give a third-round bid? So thankful you don't have to worry about that. At least we don't think we have to. The Saints right now are not in a position to be shelling out second or third-round bids for Brendan Sarsby. So somebody might be. Could the Steelers? Could the Cardinals? Their teams? The Jets? I mean, there are teams, theoretically, that could. We'll see if they do. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Make sure you celebrate America's 250th birthday with the Lafayette Stars and Stripes held on Saturday, July 4th at Park International. Downtown Lafayette, there'll be kids' activities, local pop-up shots, food vendors, musical performances by Sold Out, Rusty Matoir and food vendors, Zydeco Crush, DJ Digital, and fireworks at night. This is a free family event. Make sure to mark your calendars for the Lafayette Stars and Stripes presented by Lafayette Consolidated Government, LUS, LFT Fiber, Serving Good Vibes, AVA, and Delta Media Corp.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason? Moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks or excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping those pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating, 337-367-1414, or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating, the pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice, those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Are you looking for an eye expert? Well, visit Acadiana Optics in Broussard, locally owned, founded, and operated by Broussard native Dr. Lindsay Dugas. From comprehensive eye exams for glasses and contacts to diabetic exams, pediatric eye care, emergency eye care, cataract and LASIK evaluations, Acadiana Optics provides family eye care for all vision needs. Enjoy state-of-the-art technology, designer frame selections, prescription Maui Jim sunglasses, and custom glasses and contacts. Acadiana Optics in Broussard. Call today to schedule your appointment.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you purchase, our team takes over. From permit and excavation to gunite decking and final startup, you click, we build, you swim. Your backyard upgrade is just a few clicks away. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net and buy your pool online today.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Are you fluent in Footlish? Probably not, but not to worry. We're here to help with the Footlish Dictionary. The Punks, a Major League Baseball team that, according to Kevin, acts like a bunch of loudmouth punks, also known as the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, back to the man with his very own language, Kevin Foote and Footnotes on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, you could do so next hour, 706-0111. All right. I want to discuss the current Saints situation. First of all, I'm a little curious, and maybe I'm being naive here. Why do we know about Cam Jordan meeting with the Saints today? Why do we know about that? Like, what? That just seems like, I think teams and players and agents negotiate with teams all the time and we don't hear about it. Why is this something we know about? I don't quite understand. Is there something I'm missing here? Like, I don't know. Why do we know about that? I don't even know that we should be knowing about that they're meeting. I have no problem with them meeting, but why do we know about it? Point number one. The other thing that I keep hearing about is what in the world is taking so long with the Z28 situation? Why haven't the Saints said anything? Personally, I don't think that's that hard to figure out. I think it's a very complicated issue. For those that think it's a clear-cut issue, I just have a few questions. Where is Devin Neal in his injury recovery? Do we know? I mean, theoretically, the Saints know a whole lot more than we do, but I don't know that the Saints know so much. Like, how ready is he going to be ready for the opener? He got hurt pretty late last season. Is he going to be ready for week 4? And being cleared by the doctor and being ready to make an impact, that's two pretty different things in many cases. So how much can you count on Devin Neal, even if you like him as much as I do? Because I see Pierre Thomas in Devin Neal. I think he's a football player. But that doesn't mean he's healthy. Kendry Miller, do the Saints like him? And if they do, where is he health-wise? Now, he got hurt earlier in the season, but he also has a history of being injured. So where is Kendry Miller? When are you signing Chris Olave? Like, the Saints might obviously have a way better idea about that than we do, but I think all those things play into, is it worth having 41 around? Where does he fit in? How deep? We don't know exactly what they think of Audric Esime, but they know. But they may not be real clear yet on where is Neal, where is Miller physically, and how exactly, how much money they have to spend on Olave. I still think could impact whether it's worth it to pass up next year, not this year, but next year on the 10, 11 million, whatever it is that they actually save if they cut 41. So I don't think this is a clear-cut situation here. And remember, 41, he hasn't played well in a long time. Now, I'm ready to listen now that the offense is there and they have an offensive line and the team is better and you have a better offensive coach and all those things that we think are there now that maybe in some of those cases haven't been there in recent years, that he will then play better than he has. But it's been a long time since 41 was a way above average player, or even an above average player. Audric Estime made more people miss in 2 or 3 weeks last year than 41 has in 2 or 3 years. And so I don't know. I don't think it's a clear-cut situation, but I don't know how the whole thing with Cam is going to work out and how the whole thing with Kamara is going to work out. And I'm fine either way. I've said that for weeks now. But I don't think either situation is this clear-cut, what in the world's taking so long. I can imagine what's taking so long because those are both multi-layered, complicated situations. 1 hour down, another hour to go. Stay tuned.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Bryson Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee we'll eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Bryson Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit brysonlawfirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
Acadiana area businesses. Is it time to make an impact? Time for more traffic, more engagement, time for more customers? Then it's time to make a splash with Bass. Bass is now offering digital marketing, indoor and outdoor digital signage, billboards, and video production to help you reach more customers and close more business. For over 30 years, Bass has helped our customers tell their story. Bass Companies. Remember, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Advertise with Bass. Find us around Acadiana or at bassltd.com.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Karen Crow Lafayette, KLCJ FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros were crushed last night at home 9-3 by the Detroit Tigers. Kai Ting went 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits with 3 home runs, but did manage to strike out 9. Game 2 will be tonight, and it'll be Hunter Brown on the mound taking on his old teammate in Framber Valdez. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m., and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Around the AL West, the Minnesota Twins defeated the Texas Rangers 4-2. The Athletics beat the Pirates 11-2, and the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Angels 4-3. With those results, Seattle still sits in first place with Houston 4.5 games back in fourth. In the Men's College World Series, the University of Texas eliminated the Alabama Crimson Tide after beating them 14-2 yesterday afternoon. Then Oklahoma beat Georgia 4-3 to set up an elimination game between Texas and Georgia tonight at 7 p.m. Also in the College World Series today, on the other side of the bracket, West Virginia will meet Troy in an elimination game at 1 p.m. today in Omaha. After a lengthy legal battle, it was revealed yesterday that Brennan Sorsby will be applying to the NFL supplemental draft and continuing to try to play his college career with Texas Tech. The deadline for the supplemental draft for the NFL is June 22nd. Day 6 of the FIFA World Cup begins today with another full slate of matches. France will play Senegal at 2 p.m., then Iraq will play Norway at 5 p.m. Defending champions Argentina will face Algeria at 8 p.m., and then the late kick will be Austria squaring off with Jordan at 11 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111, as we broadcast live from the Bill and Abear studios in Upper Lafayette. Bill and Abear, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. We covered a lot in the first hour. We made a little progress on our Footnotes Summer Project. NFL 1-2 punches. Got a lot more to do there. We still have 3 more days after today to do it. We talked about the Astros' miserable performance last night and a little bit about how interesting it's going to be tonight with Hunter Brown making his return after being out about a month and a half against Framber Valdez, who spent better part of a decade, 8-9 years, something like that, with the Astros. And now he's in Detroit and coming back, and his exit wasn't real smooth. Like, it was very contentious. He was very unpopular, it seemed like, anyway. The last year he was in Houston, and they didn't want him back, even though he had been a really good pitcher for them for a long time, because of personalities and the whole incident. I can't believe it was just that, but I think that was like an example or exaggerated example of an issue they had with him for a while. So, I don't know. Is Framber going to pitch great because he's angry that the Astros didn't want him, or he's mad because of, the strife that took place last season? Or is he going to go mental like he does sometimes and not handle himself and not handle his emotions, and the moment is going to be too big for them? Hopefully that happens, because the Astros really, really need a win tonight. Hopefully he's not throwing strikes and he walks a bunch of people, and the Astros can actually get some hits in a home game and score some runs and win, because they really need to win. They've lost their last 2 games, and again, the first goal for every series is to not get swept and then to try to win the series, and hopefully they can win tonight. We talked about the College World Series. We have given our opinion, or I gave mine anyway, on our poll question of the day, what has to do with the USA World Cup jerseys. Or James, are you do you have a strong opinion on that, or not really?
I kind of like the 2014 one a little bit more. I know the one that they wore back on Friday was pretty close to the 2012 version, which just reminds me of just being in a barbershop, which, not to say that barbershops are bad, but I don't know. When I'm looking at it, I think I would rather it be like the 2012 one, just because it's like the left to right instead of it being kind of diagonal in a sense. So I don't mind it. I think the ones nowadays look a little more like the little thing that spins in a barbershop. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the 2012 one. What I see what you're saying on that. What I think about, have you ever seen, like, STM kind of has a version of, you ever seen like the old, like in the 70s, Indiana basketball, where they have the warm-up pants and they kind of, they're the red and white stripes like that on their warm-up pants? That's what I thought about. Like that old school 70s look with the little striped warm-up pants for basketball teams.
I'm looking it up right now.
That's kind of what I was thinking, which I always thought was kind of a cool look. But no, look, it's uniforms are.
If they would have done it in a sense of like where it basically just looks like you have the American flag on you.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you mixed 2012, if you see it on screen, if you're watching on TV or on YouTube, which you should on ESPN Southwest Louisiana on YouTube. If they mixed 2012 and 1994, because if you look at the 94 jersey, it's blue with the stars.
Right.
If they would have done some sort of mix where it just looks like you're wearing the American flag on the front and back,
would like that one.
I think that would have been even better. But if I had to choose, to me, I think the 2014 one looks a little bit better.
But it doesn't look like the United States of America.
No.
It looks like Peru or something.
A lot of countries that have red, white, and blue in their flag.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are necessarily bad. The 2010 one, it's a clean look, but that one doesn't scream America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But 2014, I think, is a little bit better because the shade of blue is more accurate.
All right, so certainly vote on that if you have an. And look, I'm good with uniform talk. It's more like a basket. I think soccer's more like a basketball jersey. I'm not as big on certain, although some basketball jerseys look better than others. Don't get me wrong, but anyway, yeah, certainly vote on that. We talked about the Brendan Sorsby situation, and which is interesting, and the Saints, what's going on. I mean, I kind of feel like Cam is going to end up back with the Saints. It feels that way, but certainly nothing is a lock, and we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, the Beavs regime is real big on. I mean, they're moving forward, and they seem to be, not taking any chances with anyone physically. So they're having, these mini camps and all. And I don't think they're pushing anyone. So there's no reason to kind of be overly upset or worried or more than normal about what's taking place here. So hopefully all that goes good. One thing that I've heard on the Saints front that I think I read, unless I dreamed this, but I think I read where our friend, the kicker, Charlie Smith, has gotten a lot bigger and stronger. Hopefully that helps his accuracy. I don't know. Does getting bigger and stronger, putting on a lot more muscle, does that help your accuracy? I don't know if it does. Maybe it will as a kicker. He already had a pretty big leg. What I need him to do is not, when he's on the left hash, to not start it out right. I need him to be able to kick it and then have fade through the uprights, not start it out right and end up to the right of the right upright. I need that to not happen. So if getting bigger and stronger helps that, great. We'll see how that plays out. Again, that's probably my biggest question mark besides health. Health is always your number one question mark. Cesar Ruiz might be, you could say, is my biggest question mark right now. I know some people, the cornerback situation is their biggest question mark. I don't know that I think it's one of them. I would certainly put cornerback play because you have young players who have not had a long history of success. I would certainly put cornerback somewhere in the top 5, but probably a little closer to 5 than 1. For some people, it's neon lights, exclamation point, the number one thing. James is kind of in that category. But I'm not as much in that category. I think it's a top 5 remaining question mark, but I don't think it's 1 or 2. I think Cesar Ruiz, and can Cesar Ruiz be an average to slightly above average player now that he's surrounded by better teammates? I don't know. None of us know the answer to that question, but that's what I'm hoping that he can be. And then, of course, the health of McCoy. As I said, the number one question is always health, but the number one question of the number one question is McCoy's health. He's got to play. If he doesn't play again this season for a third straight season, what are they going to do? That adds a whole different deal. Of course, I still contend if he played the whole season 2 years ago, the Beav would not be the coach of the Saints right now because they'd have made the playoffs and won the division. If he would have been healthy that whole season, probably Shuck would not be the quarterback. And so, again, some things happen for a reason, for sure. And so we'll see how that plays out. So we talked again about Sorsby, and I'm just so thankful that the Saints are not, again, a year ago, 2 years ago, if this Sorsby thing playing out, we'd be talking about should the people would be calling in yes or no, the Saints should give up make a second round bid or a third round bid on Sorsby, and I'm so thankful we don't have to go through that. I mean, I'm just so thankful don't have to go through that. Some teams, I would think there are sports talk shows in, I don't know, Arizona, Pittsburgh, certain places where I'm sure they are going through that right now. And should we do it? We'll see if anybody does or not. So, and again, we talked about the College World Series today. West Virginia, Troy. I think Troy can really hit. I just don't know if they can match West Virginia's pitching on, for a third game like this. We'll see. They lost to them 7-5. It was a very competitive game, and so we'll see. I think, like I said, I think Troy can legitimately hit, and I just don't know if they can legitimately pitch. And I tend to think that West Virginia and Texas, the deeper we get into this College World Series, the more dangerous they're going to be because I think they're deeper in the pitching categories. We'll see. And North Carolina is too. So I think North Carolina is sitting pretty, but man, if Georgia beats Texas tonight, I'll be a little surprised, but we'll see. I was surprised the first time, and they beat them. I didn't think they'd beat them the first game, and they did. So we'll see. Georgia is very interesting in Oklahoma. I mean, we talked about how it looked like a have and have not. Georgia was ranked 4th in our deal, Oklahoma 5th, but there was a 12-point difference between 4th and 5th. And yet Oklahoma's pitching has just been fabulous. And, yeah, they've given up a few solo homers, but you can win giving up solo homers. It's harder to win, when you give up 5 or 6 of them. But if you give up 1 or 2 or even 3 solo homers, you can win. And that's what happened yesterday. Gave up 3 solo homers. Georgia didn't score in any other way other than the solo homer. And that's the fear of playing home run derby baseball that I just don't like. I love hitting homers. I think some people think I'm anti-homers. No, I just don't like being homer dependent. To where if I don't hit homers, I got nothing. I got no second act. I better hit home runs because if I don't, I'm done. I hate that. I don't like that kind of baseball. But that's kind of the way it's played in a lot of ways, and it's certainly in a lot of the powerhouse teams. And I keep saying SEC because we talk about SEC. There are plenty of other leagues that they, where they have teams that are home run dependent teams. It's not just the SEC. All right, we'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Here at ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station, we know you can't get enough sports in your life. So go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, ESPN Southwest Louisiana. Turn on the bell so you can get notifications when we post new content like our popular podcast, Ford Tire Chains, Cleats and Sneaks, original shorts like Foot's Friday Fury. And now you can stream all of our local shows on our YouTube channel. So go and subscribe to ESPN Southwest Louisiana's channel on YouTube.
From Tiger Stadium to the Texas state line, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for live and local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana. We're your official home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles also tackles the latest involving the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, McNeese Cowboys, and New Orleans Saints. So keep it locked right here. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Every weeknight, MeTV has your laugh therapy.
To chase away the blues or the olive drabs.
With 2 hours of MASH at 5.
This guy's ankle has tickled my funny bone.
Followed by the Andy Griffith Show at 7.
Doggone it, Otis. You're supposed to be hugging me when I'm arresting you.
But he likes you, Barney.
Weeknights on MeTV.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
If you owe the IRS or state $20,000 or more in back taxes, you need the tax resolution experts at Fortress Financial Services. We save businesses and individuals from being shut down by the IRS. Your local attorney or CPA cannot negotiate with the IRS like us. This is all we do. We'll defend you, protect you, and negotiate the best deal. Here's what other Fortress clients have said. Jim F. from Texas. I couldn't imagine Fortress would achieve what they did. You can't find more understanding, impressive people. I want to thank Fortress for saving my life. Ed P. from Utah. After trying reputable local attorneys, I got nowhere. That changed once I called Fortress. They got results almost immediately. If you owe $20,000 or more to the IRS or state, call Fortress Financial now for a free consultation.
800-851-4805. 800-851-4805. That's 800-851-4805.
We are Lions International, the world's largest service organization. We are volunteers committed to strengthening our communities and supporting those in need, one act of kindness at a time. For more than a century, Lions have been serving a world in need, right here in our community and around the world. Lions International makes the impossible possible. This is your invitation to join us, because the only thing missing from our mission to make a difference is you. Visit lionsclubs.org to find a local Lions Club near you.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Kevin, good morning. It's Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Hey, Kevin, I was listening. You were talking about the Saints. I'll go with that one first, and then I'll travel. Kevin, you are explaining something about the Saints that a lot of Saints fans probably would like the answers to, all those things you brought up. And even I wonder why certain things are not revealed to the fans. And I understand why they're not revealed to the fans or to the folks that like that particular NFL team or that one, because I'm not just talking about the Saints. I'm talking about all the league teams throughout the NFL. You know, coaches, I think, don't always have the answer to that question that you asked. And I bet you if you would ask them, they would have to come up with something. They would make up something because, I mean, they don't want to leave something unanswered. Maybe they might tell you, no, I just can't answer it because I don't know. And to not know, that shows a sign of ignorance. And then when you're at the top of the football chain, which is the NFL, you either know or something is wrong here. And as a head coach, as a coach, you know, before you get into that game on the weekend, Saturday's game, Sunday game, you got to know. There is no such thing as I don't know. Well, with that said, what I'm trying to say is, like you were talking about some of the things about this particular player with the Saints, all the unknowns. You know, to me, that's not good. But it's a normal. It's a norm. Jerry Jones does that with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Cowboy fan. All those league teams go through what you were saying, and they're dealing with that. And, you know, sometimes it puzzles me. I said, you know, I can't understand a professional organization in a league where this league is recognized throughout the world, and you got all these unknowns. It shouldn't be, because they have the financial resources to have all questions answered. Now, it's up to them if they want to share it with the public at the time, because right now we're in the month of June, and it might be too early to let the public know about this for the financial reasons, et cetera, et cetera. It's a money game. They have to be careful with answering questions, with giving up information, because everything could cost them $1. And the owner needs the money because this is big league. This is worldwide. Gambling is all over the place. It's all over the world. It's going in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Big money.
No,
so with that said, one last one on your Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Kevin, well, I bet you've been scratching your head lately because I'm looking at the Houston Astros situation, and I'm reliving UL baseball season toward the end. How it all was going. You two games from one team, I think it is. 2 or 3 games. You're 2 games from one team in your ranking. You're 2 from one. You're 3 from another. You're 4 from another.
Right.
And that means you're in 4th place. So right now, I know you're saying, shit, man, y'all got to get this together because we can still do this.
Oh, no, they still can. No question. I appreciate the call. Look, with the Saints situation, we'd all like to think we know about injuries, but I just don't know. You can't know about injuries. And you can go by what a doctor says he thinks is going to happen, but that doesn't mean that you never know how a player's going to come back from injuries. You never know how long it's going to take. Again, like I said, you can get cleared by a doctor. That don't mean you're ready to play peak football. I was talking about that last year with Batman. I'm a little curious, and I know his age is a big reason why people do it, but and I know it's a different position, quarterback from jack of all trades, kind of all these positions that Batman plays, but just the example that I use quite a few times this past football season. We have players that get injured and they come back, and the first year after their injury, they're terrible. Well, then the next year, they're actually much better. And during that year where you're terrible, a lot of people say, well, they're washed up. They're done. Well, no, they weren't done. They were just not ready to come back fully from the injury yet. And so it's just injuries are an unknown. I don't think you can know. You can know about some things, but injuries are a big question mark. I just think that whole situation of how 41 is and how is he going to fit, and because you don't even know who's around him. What happens if Devin Neal isn't ready to play? What happens if Kendry Miller gets hurt? That's a whole different scenario than what it looks like right now on the depth chart. So, no, I don't. I think there's a lot of unknowns there potentially that make it that a tough situation. Now, one thing that I don't think is a problem, I don't think 41 has any issue with sharing time or being the number 2. I don't think that's a big deal for him. For a lot of historic, one of the best all-time running backs in franchise history at the end of his career, there would be an ego issue there where I want certain amount of carries and all that. I've never thought that was a big deal for him. I don't think this is an ego thing. I think it's we're ready to move forward, and we like him and we like his influence, but we want to make sure that we're not hurting the progress of Devin Neal if he's healthy, or Estime if they like him, or Miller if they like him. It's just it's a lot more complicated than we think. So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm just saying I'm okay with not knowing. Just like I'd almost rather if I didn't know that Cam Jordan was meeting with the Saints today. Why is that so public? This meeting, it just seems like it makes it a little more posturing and political. But anyway, it's not a big deal. Just a thought that I had on that. And so again, looking forward to should be two really good years. I don't know that anybody thought or shouldn't have, in my opinion. I didn't think the Texas-Alabama game would be any good. I thought the Georgia-OU game yesterday was very interesting, and it turned out to be very interesting. 4-3 type game. Today's games, it would not shock me if, like if Troy just ran out of pitching, that wouldn't be shocking. But I would think there's going to be a lot of runs scored in the West Virginia-Troy game. Of course, it's baseball. You never know. And then the Georgia-Texas game, I'll be surprised if Georgia wins. But, again, I was surprised the first time. So we'll see how that happens. Again, if you'd like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111. We did mention, if you missed it in the first hour, we had a few additions. But I kind of thought NFL week would be the best so far. We've had less participation in the NFL week, which is the most popular sport at all, than we had on Major League Baseball. We were rolling from day one. I had a lot of great suggestions. In college basketball, we had a lot of them. But so far in the NFL, off to a slow start. We did mention Zonka and Morris, Haynes and Hayes, which, there's only one letter missing, so that was kind of interesting. Someone brought up Gronk and Brady, so I did the Sims and Bavaro thing, Swan and Stallworth, Cliff Harris and Charlie Waters, Jim Taylor and Paul Horning were some that we mentioned today, and obviously there are a ton more.
How about I throw one
favorite?
out there? Would you consider this one a 1-2 punch? Ed Reed and Ray Lewis?
They're different positions, but I can buy that. Yeah. Again, it's different. It's like we talked about earlier. Like someone said, Munson in baseball week, Munson and Reggie, and they were different players, and they played different positions. But these are two defensive players, and they were both defensive leaders. And so I got no issue with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. No, I think that's a 1-2 punch.
I mean, we could also just do Boom and Zoom. Kamara and Ingram.
Yes, and, man, again, I loved when 41 Kamara is that guy, that secondary guy where he doesn't have to be dump trucked. And once Ingram left, I don't know, the awful decision was made to dump truck him, and I will, I guess I get it because he was their most talented running back, but I still thought that was a very short-sighted thing. So, yeah, that certainly could be one. And you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that 10 years from now, if we have a similar discussion, wouldn't it be something if 10 years from now we can talk about how productive the 1-2 punch of the Riddler and Olave are for the Saints passing attack? Wouldn't that be something if I was dead wrong about how risky it was to pick the Riddler and he turns out to be a stud and Olave stays and they end up being the best 1-2 wide receiver punch in franchise history? That would be awesome. Yes? Are we on page? Are we good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Can I throw a couple more out there?
Okay.
Now these are really off the wall. I hope you're ready for this. I don't know if you want to.
I like off the wall.
I don't know if you want to write these down. How about Drew Brees and bad defenses?
Oh.
Or Drew Brees and passing records?
Man.
Then you could also do Tom Brady and comebacks.
I don't know. I don't think he's captain comeback as much as a lot of the other really good quarterbacks because he played on teams where they were like, kind of so good on defense, so good on special teams. He did have that one memorable comeback, which, I mean, in the NBA Finals when the Knicks had the best comeback, there was 28-3 stuff all over again.
Tom Brady holds the NFL record for the most fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives by a quarterback in league history.
Yeah, but again, a lot of that is if you're down by 4 points. I'm talking about like big when I talk about comebacks, I'm talking about, you're down, like the 28-3. It doesn't have to be quite that dramatic. So no, I get what you're saying, But again, you could be down 24-20 in midway through the fourth quarter. That counts on what you're talking about.
I also tried doing the distinguishment of 10 points or more, and it's still Tom Brady.
It's still Tom Brady.
It's still Tom Brady.
Man, it didn't seem like they had that many. It seemed like they were always, in command. But anyway, of course, he played a long time too. But yeah, no.
I was going to say the longevity definitely helped the numbers as well.
Definitely helps that. Because I always think of like Elway, because they were always they played no defense, and they were in Marino. They were always having to come back and kind of playing catch up like as a baseball team where you're constantly down 7-2 and having to try to come back. But no, that's a fair one.
John Elway, because Brady had 46. John Elway had 35, including the playoffs.
And Marino.
Marino.
Maybe he wouldn't. That's the kind of thing I don't memorize that kind of stuff. But, I mean, it seemed like they didn't have any running game. They had no defense, and he was constantly having to try to come back and win high-scoring games.
33 fourth-quarter comebacks and 47 game-winning drives.
All righty. No, you're right. Those are off-the-wall concepts. Like someone mentioned for College Football Week, we need to do Georgia players and police officers.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was you.
That was also me.
This guy, talk about off the wall.
I also said the one with Brett Favre.
Yes.
Yeah. There was also the
You're
Brett
being
Favre.
very cynical these days.
Look, sometimes these players are getting pretty diabolical, and it's like, well, we need to call them out.
I love that word, by the way, diabolical.
Diabolical.
What a great
It's a good word.
We don't use that nearly enough. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we got to go fast now.
The Houston Astros were crushed last night at home, 9-3 by the Detroit Tigers. Kai Ting went 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits with 3 home runs, but did manage to strike out 9. Game 2 will be tonight, and it'll be Hunter Brown on the mound taking on his old teammate in Framber Valdez. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m., and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Around the AL West, the Minnesota Twins defeated the Texas Rangers 4-2. The Athletics beat the Pirates 11-2, and the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Angels 4-3. With those results, Seattle still sits in first place with Houston 4.5 games back in fourth. In the Men's College World Series, the University of Texas eliminated the Alabama Crimson Tide after beating them 14-2 yesterday afternoon. Then Oklahoma beat Georgia 4-3 to set up an elimination game between Texas and Georgia tonight at 7 p.m. Also in the College World Series today, on the other side of the bracket, West Virginia will meet Troy in an elimination game at 1 p.m. today in Omaha. After a lengthy legal battle, it was revealed yesterday that Brennan Sorsby will be applying to the NFL supplemental draft and continuing to try to play his college career with Texas Tech. The deadline for the supplemental draft for the NFL is June 22nd. Day 6 of the FIFA World Cup begins today with another full slate of matches. France will play Senegal at 2 p.m., then Iraq will play Norway at 5 p.m. Defending champions Argentina will face Algeria at 8 p.m., and then the late kick will be Austria squaring off with Jordan at 11 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
It's 9 a.m. You just received a voicemail from your boss.
Hey, Janet. Heads up. We got an important meeting coming up Thursday. The big guys are coming into town, so I need you in charge of lunch, and we've got to look good.
Luckily for Janet, she knows a place, and she knows her boss will be impressed.
Honey Baked Ham can cater your next event. Delicious and freshly sliced deli trays, box lunches with sandwich, chips, and dessert. Or try our fresh salad boxes and the perfect touch with a meat and cheese tray. Honey Baked Ham Company.
Hello, Acadiana. Cajun Carts is your #1 full-service dealer for new, used, and custom golf carts. Perfect for on the job site, the neighborhood, or even out on the green. We are the only authorized dealer of American-made E-Z-GO and Club Car here in Acadiana. For all your service, sales, and mechanical repairs, we got you. So don't wait. Roll on over to CajunCarts.com or stop by our Lafayette location by the Jockey Lot and see why we've been Louisiana's golf cart headquarters since 2003. Cajun Carts. Why walk when you can ride?
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Are you fluent in Footlish? Probably not, but not to worry. We're here to help with the Footlish Dictionary. Benedict Arnold's.
1, 2, 3.
A division foe of the Saints who stole a bunch of Saints players and reminds Kevin of the 18th century military officer, also known as the Carolina Panthers. Now, back to the man with his very own language, Kevin Foote and Footnotes on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Well, we're going to have a special treat throughout the summer because our friend Jeff, as he talked about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, sometime recently, kind of informed us he's writing a book, and he's going to be talking to a lot of high school coaches and former players that many of us who are high school or grew up high school fans will recognize, and he's kind of filling us in on his progress. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. Like I said, every Tuesday I'm off, so I'm doing fine.
I bet. So I know that you've been tracking down some kind of legendary high school players, football players in the state, and had some success there.
Yep. This is the list so far I have of players that are agreed to interview. Sam Heinen, Brock Berlin, Saul Graves, Jamaican Dartez, Noah Bourgeois, Kelso Williams, Ryan Perilou, and Jed Hebert. And I'm hot on the heels of Cecil Collins, Kellen Falk, Craig Stelz, and Michael Stonebreaker.
So, obviously a lot of those players played like, at Evangel or John Curtis or, some of the, the great successful programs. But like a guy like Kelso Williams, a lot of people may not ring a bell. Tell people about some things about Kelso Williams.
Well, Kelso Williams was a running back in the 80s, early 80s at Cottonport. And in 1985, when he graduated, he actually held the state rushing record in Louisiana until Cecil Collins broke it. And he worked for Clico. He's retired. He lives in Bunkie, and he's got a son, Kelso Williams III, and he's taking care of, looking after his grandkids while his son works, and just enjoying retirement. And when I was searching for him, I found an article, and I sent this to you. A paper in Palm Springs, California, did an article on him, and I'm like, wow. Now, I could understand if it was a paper in Biloxi or Fort Worth, somewhere as close to here. But what in the world was Palm Springs, California, doing an article on Kelso Williams? And it talked about how he was a little bitty guy, and he had signed at Grambling. And basically the article was saying that they were glad that somebody had given him a shot. And I think what it was, they had found the record that he held the Russian title in Louisiana, and that's why they were making an article out of it. So that's
still
who
is
Kelso
amazing.
Williams is.
That shows you. I still have the memory. The very first, I think, I don't know, but the very first one I remember going to an all-district meeting in 1985 at Port Barry High School. And I don't remember all the teams, but it was like Cottonport and Mansura. I mean, it was a district very different than the district we had, that Port Barry's dealt with back then. Right. And
Cottonport closed in 1990, and those kids could go to either Bunkie or the newly created Avoyelles Parish. And the Mansura kids were shifted to Avoyelles Parish High School. And Kelso's already sent me the list of players that he's played against and his favorite game and stuff like that. And the toughest guy he ever played against, and we've heard this name before, David Christmas, the guy at Bunkie. And I'll be at Bunkie in a couple of weeks to talk to the coach, and they got a guy that did all the records for Bunkie, and I'm going over there to capture some of that, and then I'm going to meet with Kelso afterwards for lunch. And
did they call the offense?
Slop, man,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Didn't they call it? It was like the Bunkie Bone or something. They were running the Wishbone with David Christmas, weren't they?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what Cottonport was running, a version of the I-Bone back then. And I asked Kelso if they had thrown the football or they were just a running team, and he said no, they threw it. And I asked him how far they had gone. He said they had gone to the semis, and they lost to University High by 4 points. And that was probably the best team he had ever played on. But the best guy he played against was David Christmas at Bunkie.
Well, it's always great stories. Well, we appreciate your update. Looking forward to them all summer. Thank you.
Got you. Thank you, Foot.
Take care. No, again, some of that was even before I started working at the paper, which seems so long ago. I mean, 1985, it's 41 years ago. It's been a little while now. But I can remember, I never saw Kelso Williams play. But I know some of the teams in our area, like Port Barry, played against him. And so there were some back then, like there was a stretch there a little bit later where Jermaine Williams was running for a lot of yards. And so there were running backs at smaller schools that put up some prolific numbers for sure. But I remember hearing about David Christmas and Bunkie way back then playing. So, there's a lot of course, he rattled off some names there, and some of them are going to be in places like Curtis and, Evangel. They put up incredible numbers for years, and then there are other programs now that are doing that. Calvary Baptist and programs like that. But it's back then there were a lot of little schools before a lot of these schools consolidated, like Jeff was talking about, that put up some pretty good numbers and that have great iconic names like Kelso Williams and David Christmas. Really cool stuff. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, Live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number one, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard, aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill. And the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm, LSP filing number LA2519079.
When it comes to the best Boudin cracklins in Acadiana, just follow your nose to Billy's Boudin Cracklins. You know the original stuffed pepper jack Boudin balls, award-winning Boudin cracklins, but you gotta sink your teeth into their variety of fresh and smoked sausages. Stock up on the wide selection of specialty meats as well. They're available at all 4 locations of Billy's Boudin Cracklins, Opelousas, Scott, Lafayette, or the Crot Springs location now featuring a dine-in area with great burgers and much more cooked to order. Or visit online at billysboudin.com.
Are you not getting enough Kevin Foote in your life?
I want more. I want more. I want more.
Then make sure to check out the latest episode of Foote's Friday Fury on the ESPN Southwest Louisiana YouTube page.
All that's important right now is they decide to change their draft philosophy, stop the run. If he was the first choice and he didn't stop the run, what good does that do? Nothing. So stop talking about what choice he is. Let's focus on stopping the run and stop botching the first and second round. That's all that's important. All that other stuff is just garbage, hatred talk that means nothing.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to get notifications of more of the Furious Foot.
Welcome back to Footnotes as we finish up this Tuesday. Little weird edition. If you didn't hear, like, I'm kind of Mr. Routine. I left my bag with all my notes and everything at home, so I'm just kind of winging it today a little bit, or at least I feel like I'm winging it a little bit. Don't have my little comfort blanket with my notebook and everything. That I
comfort blanket.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just
no,
not
I get
there.
it.
Yeah,
no, I get
I'm
it.
just kind of winging it with a little sheet of paper here, you know. But we do have, I did write down, I'm going to transfer these names. I got another one sent to us way before your time again, Merlin Olsen and Deacon Jones.
Oh, wow.
I would like to go back one day, and I need to do that maybe even this summer, you have an afternoon, and watch highlights. The problem, and I remember Merlin Olsen. Deacon Jones is a little bit before my time, but I remember Merlin Olsen as a player. And I've told the story before when I first started covering the Saints in the mid-'80s, home games. Back then, it's a totally different setup in the Dome than it is now. We used to sit right above the first level. Now they got us up there at the ceiling with the birds. It seemed like it's awful. But we used to have a place where you would go eat pregame meal, and then they would serve you this big hot dog at halftime. And there was a ton of NFL former players that were obviously there covering the games or following their teams or whatever. But none of them were more physically just impressive when they walked into the room and everyone just shut up than when Merlin Olsen did. Man, when he walked into the room, it was like, whoa, this cat is huge. And he just had a presence about him that, like, I mean, I remember like guys like Dick Butkus who has a great name. You're like, that's Dick Butkus? He doesn't look big at all. You know, he at that time, later in life, he wasn't this legendary physical presence. But even way later after he played, Merlin Olsen had a legendary physical presence. He was impressive.
How about I throw another one out there for you?
Okay.
Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas.
Man, this so you would say that those are the whole
unfortunately, we can't do like the whole Legion of Boom.
That's what I'm saying. The Legion of Boom, that's like the best 1-2 punch from there, you think?
Well, I think
I'm not against it. I'm just.
Well, I mean, you said different positions, so I was like, well, maybe we do the same position, but at the same time, we could just also say Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas.
And Earl Thomas, yeah. Either one could work.
To me, it's interchangeable between.
Yeah.
If you want to do Thomas and Chancellor, or Sherman and Chancellor, or Sherman and Thomas, I don't think there's a problem with any one of them.
So it was a good stretch for no question. They were real good.
So at this point, have you done a summer project before where it's like big threes?
Have not done big threes.
Okay,
no.
well there we go. That's the early submission for next time.
The problem is, some of it will cross over a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, I like that's a good group. Again, for me, the old ones are fun because you kind of reminisce a little bit. But that one isn't that old, but they were really good and obviously very, very, very.
Well, I was gonna say those
very impactful.
I was gonna say, well, those were the early days for me.
That's funny. Yeah, the early days, but I liked. Speaking of the early days for Seattle, for me, wouldn't be defensively because they weren't very good defensively back then. In the 80s, they was Jim Zorn and Steve Largent. That was Jim Zorn was fun. Like, I'm not a left-handed quarterback guy. I'm not. But he's one of the few left-handed quarterbacks that was kind of fun to watch. And him and Largent had some good years.
You could also do Keenan McCardell and Jimmy Smith. Remember we had the
absolutely. They were a good combination in the early years of the Jaguars, and then we mentioned earlier like Torrey Holt and
yeah, mm-hmm.
They were
and
good.
Isaac Bruce,
yes.
Yeah.
So there's some good combination. I mean, the Bengals right now have a pretty good combination.
Yeah, could go Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and.
Or T. Higgins.
Or if you want to do Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, depending on which way you go, no question. And, obviously Kansas City we mentioned quarterback tight ends earlier. They have a pretty good quarterback tight end.
Jackson and Henry's another one. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry.
And Derrick Henry. Yeah.
It's a little bit different one since we're so used to multiple pass catchers or quarterback and pass catcher. How about two guys that are dynamic in the backfield?
Yeah, I like that. No, we did. Well, I don't know. It depends how you define dynamic, but we like Zonka and Morris way back in the early Mercury Morris in the early days. Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung. But the problem now is there aren't that many teams that utilize a fullback. And there aren't a lot of teams now that have like a 1-2. I guess there are more running backs by committee. But there was, like I remember, early on you had and the Cowboys had Newhouse and Thomas or Newhouse and Dorsett. So there's not as many kind of fullback Thunder and Lightning kind of groups as there were before. But there are some, and we got 3 more days to touch on a few more of them. We'll see what happens tonight in Houston with Framber Valdez against Hunter Brown. It's going to be interesting. Y'all have a good day.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you.